Honda treats you to a whole new fiesta for 2022. This time, the party is extra special because we're celebrating Filipino heritage in 5 different cities: Vaughan, Toronto, Hamilton, Niagara, Montreal. This year, the festivities is tremendously huge. That showcases family-friendly Filipino festival. Don't miss the happiest cultural celebration in the world. From the eye clinic that introduces unique, funky, and fashionable eyewear, 7 taon na ang nakakaraan, continues to deliver. Sunny Optical is the one. Patuloy at tuloy-tuloy ang alagang makabayan, serbisyong Canadian. If you're looking for the distinctive, innovative, and coveted frames and sunglasses, Sunny Optical now serves our patrons much better. At dahil may Pinoy optometrist and optician that can speak Tagalog, alam namin ang pangangailangan nyo. 2 locations, 1 vision. They accept direct billing with insurance companies. In Ontario, we are located at First Markham Place, 3255 Highway 7 East, Unit 166. In Thornhill, we are at 1 Promenade Circle, Y007 at T&T Supermarket entrance. Kita-kita na lang kabayan at Sunny Optical. Feel free to contact us, 905-7311-999. We keep asking, what's trending? What's viral? Here, we ask, what's fresh in the entertainment scene? The latest innovations in science and inventions in the medical field. What's fresh on the planet? Next big thing, NBT. Tara nang manood sa programang Konting Kaalaman, Malaking Katulungan with Atty. Maria Eleanor Rodriquez. Programang kapupulutan ng aral at mga importanteng impormasyon tuwing linggo ng gabi, 7 p.m. Eastern Time sa MCBN TV at PinoyRadio.com. Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Action Honda, where car ownership is made easy. Located at 4334 Kingston Road, Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Come to Action Honda. Whether bibili ka o hindi, it's always a pleasure to talk sa kababayan. Mabuhay!
Great car deals in action. Your Filipino friends ready at your service. Test drive at Action Honda today.
Magandang araw po sa lahat ng sumusubaybay dito sa PinoyRadio.com. Ako po si Atty. Maria Eleanor Rodriquez, ang makakasama ninyo for the next hour dito sa programang Konting Kaalaman, Malaking Katulungan. Happy Independence Day, Philippines! I'm sure all of you Filipinos are celebrating it. Kung nasan man kayo sa mundo, Philippines, Canada, US, I'm sure you're celebrating it just like I am. Now, I also would like to say Happy Pride Month. It's June, and I'm trying to get some members of the LGBTQ to be a guest in my show for the month of June. So for anyone out there who would like to be a part of my program and who would like to celebrate Pride Month, please let me know by emailing me at maria@marlo.ca. Today, it's sort of a continuation of last week's episode. As you may recall, last week, my guest was Judge Minelli Rocio Carvajal from Branch 18, Regional Trial Court of Tagaytay City. We discussed a little bit about annulment, land titles, etc. Today, I have a guest who is a lawyer in the Philippines, and we will be discussing, again, annulment from the point of view of a lawyer naman, because last week, right, the title of my episode last week was The View from the Bench, because we were asking a judge about her views on these issues. So for today, ang guest naman natin is a lawyer who will be discussing these annulment. Actually, we'll go through annulment, again, recognition of foreign divorce, support. As I said, nagulat ako, meron na pa ngayong mga cases for support sa Philippines, which is really good. We'll also tackle discuss some civil cases that my guests have encountered, some criminal cases, and some general questions about the practice of law, his practice of law. So we'll be basing it on kung ano yung mga na-handle niya na mga cases as a lawyer. Now, let me introduce him to you then. ito lang, warning, his background is really, yung resume niya, nagulat ako when I read it, it's really long because he's a really good lawyer. He's also a Bedan like me, so he graduated from San Beda Law School, and I believe I'm 1 year ahead of him in law school. And syempre proud to say na Bedan to, magaling to, and he was, guess what? Ito na, basahin na natin. Medyo mahaba yung kanyang resume, but umpisahan na natin. He was a third placer at the Philippine bar exams, September 1995. You know how hard that is? The bar exams in the Philippines is one of the hardest, if not the hardest exam you'll ever take in the Philippines. I guess anywhere in the world. Mahirap ang bar natin because I've tried taking the bar in Canada, and I'm telling you, the Philippine bar exams is harder than Canadian bar exams. So, grabe no, third placer siya. So, alam nyo na, he is a brilliant a lawyer. Now, he also is a certified public accountant aside from being a lawyer. If you're thinking what I'm doing, I'm trying to find yung ano niya, yung resume. Okay, let me just find it. Okay, sorry. Let me just, okay, go ahead, and there you go. So, and as a CPA, 85% ang nakuha niya sa exam in 1990. Bedan din siya. So he graduated from San Beda both sa college and law school. So through Bedan siya, Red Lion. Now, I've also already mentioned his background. Saan siya nag-law school and saan siya nag-college. Now, let's go to his work experience. And again, mahaba rin to, so bear with me. Let me start with his very first stint as a lawyer. Hindi, wag na natin pag-usapan kung nagtrabaho siya before becoming a lawyer kasi haba talaga. So, first, let's start with 1997. There you go. Okay, wait, December. Okay, so he was a professor in San Beda. Let me see. There you go. He was a professor in San Beda Law School, College of Law, from 1997 to 1998 up to school year 2004 and 2005. He taught political law, constitutional law, statutory construction, and legal writing. He was a managing partner for Kial, Hines, and Beltran law offices from March 2003 to 2008. He was acting president Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasay, November 2006 to June 2007. He was also with GSIS, Chief of Staff, Office of Trustee, Jesse T. Andres, August 2008 to September 2010. He was with Pacific Ace Group of Companies as Vice President for Legal and Corporate Affairs from 1999 to 2003. Litigation, Corporate and Tax Lawyer for Angara, Abello, Concepcion, Regala, and Cruz Law Offices, so ACRA Law. From November 95 to December 1998, he was an associate for that law firm. And from January to August 99, he was a senior associate. So general advocacy, ang practice niya covering all fields of law with emphasis on corporate law, contract law, commercial arbitration, banking fraud. He was a legal researcher for Tanhuatco, Corpus Tanhuatco, Tagle, Chua, Cruz, and Aquino law offices in summer of 1993. So hindi pa siya lawyer noon time na yon. And auditor siya ng Punong Bayan and Arroyo CPAs 1990 to 1991. So currently he is he's in private practice, as I believe I already mentioned that to you, for Hines, Kial, Hines, Beltran, and Yulo offices from July 2016 up to the present. So, okay, ngayon, alam nyo na, our guest is a brilliant lawyer. So kung may mga questions kayo, tanungin nyo na, because this is your chance to get an answer from a lawyer. But I think I'll be doing the questioning for you. I've anticipated some of the questions that you might ask him. So let us now bring in our guest for today, our Independence Day guest, Attorney Winston Hines. Hi, Winston. Welcome to Konting Kaalaman, Malaking Katulungan.
Hi, Tiny. Good morning from the Philippines.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much for agreeing to be my guest. I know you're a busy guy, and I really appreciate the fact that you found time for me. Para lang alam mo,
Okay.
our
Thank you.
audience would be anywhere in the world because it is internet-based. And may mga followers tayo. Last week, if you do not know, or you probably do know, my guest was Judge Minelli Rocio Carvajal of Tagaytay. And we discussed a little bit about a lot of things, including annulment, recognition of foreign divorce, titling, etc. So again, thank you, Judge Minelli Rocio Carvajal. Haba, I know. Thank you so much for opening that door. Now, the title of the episode last week was The View from the Bench. So where we asked a judge about what she thinks of these kinds of issues, right? Cases. So now we are going to ask a lawyer. So a point of view naman ng lawyer. So ito yung magre-represent sa inyo before a court. I think it will be very interesting for a lot of you out there. So don't go. If you've started watching, you better stay because there's so many things that we will be asking Attorney Hines that you would want to know, from hiring a lawyer, the procedure, jurisdiction, etc., etc. So let us start. But before that, kumusta ka naman pala? Kumustahin muna natin si Winston.
I'm okay. Still very active in the practice of law.
Mhm.
And I'm actually a partner of your classmate way back in law school.
I
Attorney
know.
Sunny.
Hi, Sunny. Oh my gosh. Kaya nga when I saw your CV, I'm like, when I saw Kial, si Sunny agad naisip ko eh. It could have been another person, but he was the first person that came to mind. So, hi, Sunny. Hello. So, and since ano yan? 2016
Since
ba?
2003, we have been
2003.
partners in our law office.
Oh, wow. That is really good. Ano ba yung sasabihin ko sa'yo? So you're based in, is it Manila ka ba? Manila yung office nyo?
Yes, we are actually in Makati,
Makati.
and we are in Burgundy Corporate Tower along Senator Hill Puyat Avenue.
And I mentioned, I read your resume, your CV. Ang haba-haba. Grabe. So sabi ko sa kanila, ginawa, gist na lang. So pinaka-importante sa lahat, bedista ka.
Yes.
He's a bedan since college, elementary ba doon ka rin, high school? Or
No, I'm from Zambales, and I studied in our hometown in Santa Cruz. Zambales for my elementary and high school.
Pero
So,
college and beda na.
Yes, college. Up accounting,
Oh my
I
God.
enrolled already in San Beda College.
And I did mention that 85% ang nakuha mo sa bar. Oh my, sa exam sa CPA.
Yeah.
I don't like numbers. Pag ako nakakita ng numbers, nahihilo na ako. That's why I was so scared of taxation law. Kasi kahit anong gawin mo, may numero pa din. Kahit konti lang. But I survived it. And you're a third placer in the bar. Oh my God. Anong klaseng aral ang ginawa mo? Just cause for you to do that. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tiny.
That's hard. And I was telling them, I was telling the audience, you know how hard the Philippine bar is, especially back then, right?
Yes, it's true.
And I'm in a position to compare because I took the bar in Canada. So, I mean, ang hirap talaga sa atin because hindi objective. They started 20% sa amin objective, di ba? Nag-try sila during yung batch namin. But mostly essay, di ba? If you really, you do not know the answer, it's kind of hard to answer something like that. Hindi ka pwede mag-ini-mini-mini mo, right? Because you have to explain, right? Yung case na binigay sa'yo, you have to identify the issue and, in Canada, it's subjective lahat. Ano yan?
Enumeration.
Mini, mini, mini mo. Anong enumeration? No, pwede ka manghula. Right?
Choose the best answer.
Yeah, and open book.
Multiple choice.
An open book. So pagpasok ko sa bar, yung ano ko, tabbed yan lahat, iba-ibang kulay. And lahat kami ganon. So if you know where to find it, you'll find it. So it's really hard. That's why congratulations. It's hard enough to pass the bar, let alone, place third in the bar exam. So again, congratulations. Now that I've already built you up, alam na nila kung gaano ka galing. Ngayon, tanungin ka na. Let us I have to thank God I remembered. Usually I remember this in the middle of my show. I am a lawyer in the Philippines as well. But let me just remind the audience that whatever you hear from this program, it's not legal advice, okay? We will be discussing things that we're not giving you legal advice. You cannot take whatever you learn from this show and go to court and say, this is what they said. No. This is not legal advice. Ano lang kami, we're just trying to, discuss things that we know that you might want to know. But if you have any cases that you need to go to court for, then hire a lawyer. Okay? Yun lang. Okay, now let's start with the most important. Kasi ito, kahit taga America, Canada, Italy, Europe, ang Pilipino, they usually end up asking about annulment. Lalo na yung mga may asawa sa, clearly yung may asawa sa Philippines ang magpapa-annul, right? So I did mention last week about annulment, but let me ask you, okay, first of all, yung annulment na yan, anong klaseng annulment ba ang meron sa Philippines? So that the people will know. Kasi alam ko, generally, alam lang, pag nagpa-annul, mawawalang bisa yung kasal. But they don't know more than that. So, ano ba unang-una? Before we go to the grounds, what are the types of annulment na meron ng Philippines?
Yeah, I think we should first clarify because there's always a misconception of annulment and declaration of nullity of marriage.
The difference between the two, yes.
Yeah, so when we say nullity and versus annulment of marriage, in annulment, it presupposes that the marriage is valid from the very beginning, but there are some instances which would make it invalid. Whereas in nullity, the marriage is null and void from the very beginning. So that's the difference. And the grounds for annulment and nullity of marriage are different from each other.
Oo. But I think usually kasi when you say annulment, 'di ba? Parang slang na, hindi lalo na sa common tao, 'di ba? When they say magpapa-annul ako, magkano ba annulment? Yung mga ganung tanong. When they say that, they can't really differentiate declaration of nullity and annulment. Para bang ginagawa nila para sa Colgate sa Philippines, 'di ba? Bibili ka ng toothpaste. Pwede bumili ng Colgate, yung gano'n parang gano'n. So parang sinasabi na, magpapa-annul ako. So, parang bahala ka na sa lawyer kung anong gagawin mo. Right? So at least natinaw na nyo. Yeah, naintindihan naman namin na times. Annulment, and declaration of nullity. So if you want to be very, ayun na, sinabi ni attorney, isang declaration of nullity and annulment. So ngayon, more often than nullity as opposed to annulment, di ba? Am I right?
Yes, that is right. The grounds for nullity na hinahanap nila is actually the declaration of nullity based on psychological incapacity. No, because there are other grounds, but seldom that they are present. Like for example, lack of consent, lack of authority of the solemnizing officer, or they are of minor age when they got married. most often, actually, majority of the cases is based on psychological incapacity under Article 36 of our family code.
So, okay, since nabanggit mo yung declaration of nullity and yung grounds, yung ayan na nga, most psychological incapacity, yung tipong, actually, praning ho ako hindi. Hindi pwede yun. Punta muna tayo sandali lang sa annulment para lang maintindihan nila. May konti dyan na nagpo-fall kung wala sila doon sa isa, para at least alam nila na may remedy din sila under annulment of marriage, which, like you said, it's valid until it's annulled, right?
Yes.
Unlike from declaration of nullity, mamaya pag-usapan natin anong effect nung dalawang yon sa marriage nyo. Okay, annulment, ano naman ang grounds for annulment?
So for grounds for annulment is that number one, they are both 18 years of age but below 21. And the marriage was solemnized without yung consent ng kanilang mga parents. So that is necessary. If they are over 20, they are over 18 but less than 21, so they need the consent of their parents. But if they live together as husband and wife already, and hindi pa rin nila na-annul yung marriage nila after nung 21 years old, then they cannot anymore file the declaration for nullity of marriage, no?
So it has to be filed before turning 21.
Yes, that's right. Another one is that kahit isa sa kanila is of unsound mind, no? Ibig sabihin, not of the right mind at the time of the marriage, no? So either party may file the annulment of marriage, but once you knew the circumstances and you still did not file and you continue to cohabit or live together as husband and wife, then you lose also the opportunity to file the petition for annulment of marriage.
So
then,
doon sa ground na yon, question, sino pwede mag-file? Yung of unsound mind o yung asawa? Or either one?
Well, the person who is of sound mind, no, parang the party who is not in bad faith, he is the one, or he or she is the one entitled to file the declaration.
Okay.
No, and then another one is that the consent of either of the party was obtained by fraud. No, ibig sabihin you were tricked, you were deceived in giving your consent. Like for example, nag-misrepresent kung sino talaga siya and yung kanyang pagkatao, etc. And that's why you give your consent during the solemnization of the marriage.
You know what?
Yun, kailangan,
ano kailangan? Sige, go ahead. May
kailangan within 5 years from the time the marriage was solemnized, kailangan ma-file ng aggrieved party yung petition for annulment.
That is very interesting. Alam mo, we're thinking, di ba, yung declaration of nullity, ang dami na talagang gumagamit ng psychological incapacity kasi yan na talaga yung parang pinaka-lenient sa lahat, right? Yan na yun. But having heard this to the audience out there, eto pang isa, right? If yung of unsound mind. Kasi di ba parang napaka-general unsound mind. Now, my next question to you is this. What constitutes unsound mind for the courts? How do they declare that, oo nga, unsound mind tong taon to? Anong kailangan patunayan?
Well, yung unsound mind is really a clinical and physical character of the person. So there should really be a mental study that should be done, should be submitted, or the person should be subjected to a rigorous physical examination by an expert for the court to make a determination that he is of unsound mind. Now, it's not only an error of judgment that will qualify a person of unsound mind. Ibig sabihin, talagang may mental incapacity as compared or to psychological incapacity.
So ito talagang parang hindi lang, kasi we'll talk about psychological capacity later, but ito, talagang kailangan pakita mo na parang yung gumagano na siya mag-isa. Yung parang ganon, yung ganon ba? Yung, di ba, yung parang kulang na lang pupunta na siya sa mental hospital. Parang ganon.
Yes, yes, that's right.
Ganon kalala. Oh, okay. Okay, and there's the other thing, I was gonna go to that part where you said, someone tricked you into yung pa isa. Diba? I mean, for a good lawyer, you can use this. Yung na-trick, okay, yung tanong ko, how are you tricked into getting married to a person? So, you talked about identity, right? It's interesting for me because parang, di ba iba, parang pang pelikula. Okay, you were tricked. Ano, kasi ba, example, kambal sila, akala mo, I don't know, can you give, kasi parang exciting I mean, interesting.
Yeah, I think yung fraud that's being contemplated in as grounds for annulment is really a gross misrepresentation of a person's identity and his capacity. Like, for example, during the courtship, and when they were already engaged, the one of the parties, let's just say the male, yung boy, represented that he is of a rich family, and he was showing that he has the wealth and with all the necessary grandiose, he brings the girl to very grandiose vacations, places, etc. But all of these are just a facade, and all for the purpose of deceiving and tricking the girl to agree to his marriage proposal. So, in my opinion, that would really constitute a fraud and deceit on the part of the boy. So that could be a ground for annulling the marriage on the ground of fraud.
Fraud. O yan, yung mga lalaki dyan, magpanggap kayong mayaman. Kasi, no? At yung mga babae naman na mahilig sa pera. Ayan, silbing leksyon sa inyo yan. Pag nagkataon na wala palang pera yung lalaki, well, meron na kayong way out. Tawagan niyo sa Atty. Hines. Tapos, may isa pa I'm thinking, what about we were talking about fraud, diba? What about someone who already has a family, not married, but already has, children, may kinakasamang babae, hindi sinabi sa'yo, tapos pinakasalan ka. Would that constitute fraud?
Yeah, I think so. Let's say if you will say that you are unmarried, that you don't have any family, and you really make the other person believe that you are single, etc. So that would really constitute fraud, no? Kasi you are deceiving the person that you are unengaged. Parang you don't have any family, you don't have any responsibility. That's why he agreed or she agreed sa iyong marriage proposal. So as long as there is trickery, as long as there is deceit, then that could be a ground ng fraud. Panloloko, kumbaga, ang nangyari.
So, bale, in other words, based on what you're saying, sa mga tao, correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm reading from this is that it will be based on subjective dun sa taong naloko di ba? Kung ang basis mo for marrying that person is yung sinabi niya sa yung panloloko, I think yun, di ba? Kasi kung niloko ka naman, pero hindi naman yun yung reason ba't mo siya pinakasalan, right? Sabihin na sinabi niya sa'yo na ang yaman-yaman ko. Tapos sasabihin mo na, wala akong pakialam sa pera mo. Kahit mahirap ka, mahal kita. Tapos pinakasalan ka, tapos sasabihin, hindi ka pala mayaman. I don't think that's trickery, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right also. So that's good. That's a good one and tiny. It depends also on the person who was complaining, on what was the reason. Ano ang kanyang naging rason kung bakit siya pumasok sa kasal.
Exactly. Diba? Kasi may mga tao dyan na, syempre, mga babae gusto ma-hook yung mga mayayaman. So, wala kang pakialam, para lang hindi lang magmukha silang gold digger, wala kang pakialam sa pera mo. Ang importante sa akin, ikaw. Kahit maghirap ka, pabiglang malaman na hirap nga, ano? O, ayan ha, ingat yung mga babae dyan. The gold diggers, be careful. Ingat-ingat kayo. Anyway, okay, let's moving on. It's exciting masyado pag-usapan yan. Okay, is that all? Yan yung mga grounds.
There are still other grounds, no? Number one, another one is the consent or yung agreement of either of the parties was obtained by force, intimidation, or undue influence. No? So,
importante
ito naman yung shotgun marriage. Kumbaga, that we know that you were forced, compelled to agree to a marriage because you were maybe threatened or intimidated. So that's easily understood. Naman, and then another one is either party is was a sexual impotent or physically incapable of engaging in sexual intercourse. So that's important, ano, yung impotence is a ground, but the other one is interesting, physically incapable of engaging in sexual intercourse. So
yung mga pasensya na po sa akin lang. Yung mga tipong talagang ganon, tipong ganon, right? Okay. On the part of the boy, guys, meron bang nangyari sa babae? Hindi Well, pwede rin actually sa babae, di ba? Kasi we're talking about when you say that, the first thing that comes to mind are men's I guess incapacity to perform, right? Impotent. Meron bang babae impotent?
I'm not sure kung if there are, but the other ground, yung incapable of sexual intercourse, that could also be kasi more can be psychological.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. For women, that could also be a ground, no? Or it could happen to them that because they could not just get into that physical act of copulation or sexual intercourse. So either party, either the husband or the wife, can be suffering from such defect.
Alam mo, it's good that we're talking about this kasi like I said, I've mentioned annulment based on declaration of nullity based on psychological incapacity. So maraming nakarinig yan. Ito hindi pa namin na-discuss masyado dito sa show ko. So it's really, really important for the people to know these grounds as well, diba? Hindi lang psychological incapacity. So for those of you out there, baka mamaya you want out, itong grounds na to, pakinggan yung mabuti because you may fall under them. Like yung sinabi mo earlier, another apart from trickery, yung force, right? You were forced into marrying someone. Ang unang papasok sa utak mo, di ba yung shotgun marriage, yung babae buntis? Usually yung shotgun marriage, yung buntis, kailangan pakasalan ni lalaki, right? Now, the reverse can also be true. Diba? Yung babae na forced na magpakasal, kasama ba dyan yung, families, yung napilitan ka kasi sabi ng magulang mo or hindi pwede yun? Kailangan talagang ikaw mismo ikaw din pinilit ka ng magulang mo, kailangan ba ang namilit sa'yo yung asawa mo? Like, where should it come from?
Well, hindi naman necessary na the other party ang nag-compel sa'yo. No, because ang standard of qualification dito will be the person who is alleging na siya yung nag-suffer ng kumbaga vitiated consent because of fraud, because of force, ganoon. So siya, whoever ang nag-compel sa kanya, either his own family, the wife, or the wife's family or the husband's family for that matter, ay pwede, no, as long as it was not because of his own will. Hindi niya talagang sarili at voluntaryong pagpasok dun sa kasal.
So yan, importanteng malaman ng mga tao yan because there are cases na nangyayari yan, di ba? Yung mga kailangan magpakasal kasi ganito ganyan. And usually, tayo mga Pilipino, we usually follow what our parents say, diba? Dito sa North America, it's unheard of. Pero in other cultures, actually, ginagawa rin yan. Sa Philippines din, minsan didinig mo na, magpakasal ka dyan. Kailangan mong pakasalan yan. So for the audience out there, hindi pa huli ang lahat. Kung pinilit kayo magpakasal, ayaw nyo naman talaga, kontakin nyo na si Attorney Hines o ako.
Okay, but we have to qualify, Tiny, dahil most of the grounds for annulment must be filed within 5 years from the time of the marriage. Like for example, doon sa physical force, intimidation, yon. Actually, within 5 years din yon, ano? As well as doon sa sexual impotency or cannot physically perform, it must be filed within 5 years from
Bilisan nyo na. Mga bata dyan na bagong kasal. Huwag na kayo magpatumpik-tumpik. Mag-file na kayo ng annulment proceedings. Okay. So, yun yung grounds for annulment. Ang effect nun, punta na tayo sa effect. Pag nagpa-annul at nag-grant, anong effect nun?
Well, as we said, valid naman yung from the very beginning. So, pag nagkaroon sila ng mga anak, then they are considered as legitimate, and their legitimacy will not be affected. Of course, kung may mga properties, then that will also be divided by the husband and wife. Ganun lang naman yun. And then of course, the marriage will be declared, will be annulled, no? There will be an annotation in the certificate of marriage na annulled yung property, na yung marriage nila by virtue of the court's decision.
And you said that they also deal with property at that point.
After the marriage has already been annulled.
No,
nauuna po na yun. Come again?
Is that a different proceeding?
It's a continuation of the proceeding, but
same judge?
Yes, same judge. It should the declaration should first be declared, and that there should first be a declaration of finality. Okay. Then the next stage would be yung liquidation of their absolute community property.
Okay. Ngayon, punta naman tayo sa psychological incapacity, sa declaration of nullity. So ito, ano yung grounds?
Yeah, ito naman, as we have said kanina, just to recall, that the marriage mula sa simula ay null and void, no? And so it's not valid from the very beginning. So number one, ang ground dito is kasi it is required that the parties must be of legal age. At dito sa Pilipinas, ang legal age is 18. So if the parties are below 18, either of the party is below 18, then the marriage is a nullity, null and void. So yan yung first ground, no? Number two is, again, we have said that the solemnizing officer or yung magkakasal should be properly authorized. And ang family code natin enumerates who are the persons can solemnize marriage or yung pwedeng magkasal. So these are judges, ministers, priests, justices, yung mga yun, or mayors. So they are authorized.
So wala dyan yung, alam mo dito sa Amerika, yung online, mag-a-apply, tapos pwede na mag-solemnize. Wala tayo niyan, di ba? Wala
pa tayong gano'n na rules ngayon.
Okay, so yung mga...
Hindi rin pwede yung mga notary public o mga simple attorneys, they cannot.
Oo, okay. Kasi sa Amerika, di ba, merong online, mag-a-apply kasi magiging ano ka na, pwede ka nang mag-officiate sa mga kaibigan mo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay.
And then, number three is that, kasi requirement then for a valid marriage is that you should apply for a marriage license. No, so there should be a valid marriage license unless exempted, no? So may mga exemptions yan. Like for example, you are living as husband and wife without the benefit of marriage for a period of 5 years, ay pwede na kayong ikasal kahit wala kayong marriage license because you have been cohabiting for 5 years. So those are that's one of the exceptions, no? And then yung bigamous or polygamous marriages. Yung bigamous marriage are kasal ka na dati, tapos nagpakasal ka pa ulit, So yung second na kasal mo will be null and void dahil kasal ka na dati, no? Then of course, yung psychological incapacity. That's the
most popular.
Most popular ground for declaring the marriage as null.
Oo. So yun ang pag-usapan natin kasi yan ang maraming gustong gumamit niyan, 'di ba? So ano yung unang-unang requirement para mag-file ng declaration of nullity?
Well, for declaration of nullity, in our case, in our firm, now we interview the client and really know the background and the history from the time that he or she met the other party. So we will really inquire into the details of their relationship and up to the time that they got separated, if they are already separated, so that we will know if this will qualify for filing a declaration of nullity based on psychological incapacity. So that's what we do, no? And then the second step is we refer the client to a psychologist for the psychologist to conduct a psychological study and submit a report to us of his or her recommendation of the psychological makeup or status of either our client or the other party.
Ngayon, when it comes to that, how much does a psychiatrist, di ba dalawa yan? Pwedeng clinical psychologist or psychiatrist, diba?
Yes, that's right. But we most often that use clinical psychologist. That's all right, no? That's already allowed.
Yeah, usually how much yan? Para at least may idea yung mga audience natin.
Well, it ranges from say low of 30 to 50,000, depending on the psychologist.
And does that include their appearance sa court?
Not yet. That would just be the fee for the examination and interview, preparation of the report, and submission of the report.
So if they're called to testify in court, meron pa silang per hearing?
Yes.
Usually mga magkano yung ganyan?
That's between maybe 5 to 7,000 per appearance. And if it is out of town of Metro Manila, then that could be higher.
Ano naman ang legal fees naman when it comes to that? Ano ba yung structure ngayon sa Philippines? Do you get a retainer agreement? Paano ba? Paano yung sistema dyan?
Well, in the Philippines, it's usually an acceptance fee of a certain amount and then per appearance fee. No, that could be one of the structures, or it could be what we call already a package fee. No, from the start, it's already a fixed amount that will be paid in the course of the proceeding. No, let's say you agree on a certain amount. Let's just say 300,000. So 100,000 initial fee, 100,000 upon
filing,
submission. Yeah, maybe. Upon the rest of the plaintiff's evidence, then another 100,000 when the case is submitted for decision. So that's a full 300,000 already.
And is that the normal, ano yung range ng usually? I know, iba-iba bawat law firm, right? But ano yung kalakaran ngayon? Ano yung normally ano yung range ng fees ng lawyers kung package?
Well, I think in our firm, I could not really speak of other offices because I am not really aware also. But in our firm, we offer from, depending on the complexity of the case, from 300 to 500,000 also.
So package na yan, which means kasama na yung appearance mo doon?
Yes.
Okay. So 300 to 500 kasama na appearances. Okay. And so wala na silang ibang babayaran dyan. Yun na yun, right? Pagdating
yes. And it's not a one-time payment naman. As I have said, it can be paid on the agreed status of the proceedings of the case.
Mm-mm. So ngayon, pagdating naman dun sa isang sinasabi mo, acceptance fee, paano yung structure nun?
Yeah, the acceptance fee could be a lower amount, say about 100,000. Then for all the appearances and pleadings, then that could be separate fees that
Mas
will
yun,
be
ano?
charged.
Yeah.
No? So
Oo.
in dealing with clients, you have to determine also their financial capacity, and you will have to adjust the fees in accordance with the capacity of the client. So it cannot really be one time or a fixed formula for all the cases.
But are you able to lower it down, or you're just giving them like a payment plan? Parang ganon.
Yeah, it could be if it's really meritorious and there are some good points of law that we could fight for in the case, and to help the client as well, then we can lower down the fees.
Good to know. Now, syempre, kasi ako Solicitor General's office ako before. Until now, they're actively involved in declaration of nullity.
Yes, it is required that all nullity cases, the Office of the Solicitor General should be notified. But what they do is they authorize the prosecutors to appear in their behalf. And so it's seldom that the solicitors appear during the hearing of the cases. But there are instances that when a decision is already issued, they may file a motion for reconsideration or appeal
I know
into the Court of Appeal. So
Yes.
for us practitioners, we are waiting for that move of the OSG because that would not be good for us.
I know kasi when I was still there, I don't know right now, 'di ba? When I was there, talagang protocol namin 'yun to be involved and to oppose, right? Initially, oppose agad. Wala nang, and then ayun na nga, and I was telling everyone that kasi they're saying na mabilis lang daw dapat, ganon. So you don't know. You don't know kung gaano katagal to because involved ang Solgen. And the Solicitor General has we have a lot of cases right in front of us. And sometimes, kung may gagawin dyan, medyo matatagalan, hindi mo alam ngayon kasi kahit may final decision na, di ba? Like you said, pwedeng i-appeal or mag-MR. So, gaano pa katagal yon, di ba? So, you don't know. And having said that, how long does it take for annulment cases to finish? Kung hindi natin i-involve yung appeal ng Solgen or MR, kung dun pa lang sa RTC lang.
For normal cases, I would say since we are back to normal already, cases are being heard in court already, I think it would be good if you could finish the case in 1 and 1.5 years to 2 years. No, because depending on the number of witnesses also, because there are maybe hearings that you have to go through, like the investigation or collusion investigation
Fiscal,
to be conducted by the prosecutor, by the fiscal, pre-trial hearing that will be conducted by the judge, things like that. So before you go to trial, maybe 3 to 4 months had already elapsed. From the time that you have filed the case.
Yeah, because a friend of mine said 3 months daw natapos yung annulment. Oh, that's impossible. So I go, that's not, it's physically impossible for someone to finish an annulment case in 3 months. Imposible, sabi ko. Ayaw maniwala. So, I don't know. So, ayan, nakikinig ka dyan. Nadinig nyo, 1 year to 2 years, right?
Yes.
Ka na dun dapat, right? Because there's maraming involved. Like he said, dun sa lower court, magtatagal na, meron pang investigation ng fiscal, investigation ng judge, maghihearing pa kayo, and then papasok ang Solgen. Good luck sa'yo kapag hindi ka inappeal. Pag inapil ka, hindi natin alam kung gaano katagal yon. So ngayon, pagdating naman dun sa, so nandun na kayo sa court, di ba? According to Judge Carvajal, meron daw ngayong that you don't have to present the witness in court, right?
Yes, it's now allowed. We especially during the pandemic that we have a video conference rules on video conference, no, and parties can join the hearing via the official micro teams system used by our courts.
Until now, kahit okay na?
There are still some cases, but mostly now are being required to be a face-to-face hearing.
What about, okay, I'm from Canada. What if I have people here who want to have their marriage annulled in the Philippines? Is that possible if they cannot go home?
Yes, that is allowed. There is a rule issued by the Supreme Court, allowing parties or witnesses who are residing abroad, but the requirement is the video conference must be done in the Philippine Embassy or Philippine Consulate Office.
Which is going to be a problem.
Yes. So actually, just like in my case, I have to coordinate with I have a witness who is an OFW in Milan. So we have been sending emails to the Philippine Consulate in Milan, Italy, to ask their permission that we conduct the video conference in Milan. Unfortunately, they are not yet allowed yet by the Italian government to do such things in Milan, so we cannot do otherwise. So that's the requirement. It cannot be done anywhere.
So paano kung deposition? Pwede ba yon?
Well, deposition, as you know, is not very common in the Philippines, but I think it could be done also, but like written interrogatories, but that's not very common.
Yeah. Especially sa annulment. Sa annulment, ito, what about, naiisip ko, if there's a client here, di ba? Magsasign siya, syempre siya magsasign kung siya yung petitioner, siya yung magsasign, right?
Yes.
Since wala siya dyan, he can sign it in front of a lawyer. Pwede ba yon? In front of a notary here. Tapos ipapadala dyan na dito ginawa. Is that possible?
Well, what is, aside from the usual authentication in the Philippine Embassy or consulate, like what we call the red ribbon before, no, it is now allowed that there's now a new rule where the foreign country or state can issue an authentication that let's say the person who notarized, the notary public, say in Canada, is authorized and commissioned to do the notary, and he makes a certification. No, so that is already allowed. In the Philippines right now, but that should be executed by the authorized officer of the foreign country.
So yan, yung mga audience dyan from Canada. I am a lawyer in Canada. I notarize, I'm a notary public, and I'm also a lawyer in the Philippines. So, kung gusto niyo magpa-annul, call me because I'm here. I can prepare everything for you and notarize it. Pag uwi ko sa Pilipinas, ako pa rin ang lawyer nyo. Diba? Dire-diretso. Anyway, so pin-remote pa eh. That's good to know because ang dami nagtatanong sa akin actually dito. And may mga clients na ako na gusto magpa-annul dyan. Now, the other I think way is this. Kung yung asawa nila, hindi, ito pa palang problema, na hindi naman pala problema. Because they're from here, right? Where do they file the petition? Kung saan nakatira yung asawa nila, right?
Yes. That should be the case.
Tatanggapin ng court yon na kahit ikaw yung petitioner, you don't live in that city, as long as the other person, your spouse, is in that city, has been living there for at least a year, diba?
For at least 6 months, actually.
6 months. Okay, mas konti pa. pwede na.
Mhm.
Pasok ka na
Yes.
sa nun, sa residential
Jurisdiction.
jurisdiction.
Mm.
Okay. So, now, the other problem is this. When it comes to psychological incapacity and you are assailing the psychological incapacity of your spouse and they don't cooperate, anong ginagawa doon?
Well, when you say they don't cooperate,
Ayaw nila magpa-exam sa psychiatrist mo. You can't force them, right? So what do you do?
actually that is all right, no? Insofar as at least you submit yourself, no? Even if the history of the marriage will just be based on what the plaintiff or yung complaining party will be narrating to the psychologist, no?
Mhm.
And it will be enough. Supreme Court had already sustained na it will be enough evidence already as long as the psychologist will base his or her evaluation and conclusion on the psychological makeup of both parties based on an interview of the complainant or the plaintiff and other witnesses who might have been there and witnessed what transpired before, during, and after the marriage.
Okay. So pwede rin yung children, di ba? Who are
Mhm.
adults, right? And friends, family who know both the petitioner and the spouse.
Yes.
So, okay. Now, yung grounds for appeal. Halimbawa, nangyari na ba na nag-declare ng null, declared null and void na yung kasal. And then the other party appealed it. May nangyari na bang ganun? O tinatanggap na lang basta yan?
No, actually there are cases, yung mga normally yung mga decided na ito ng Supreme Court where the Supreme Court reverses the decision of the trial court, no? And mostly ang sinasabi nila that the other party was not able to prove the grounds of psychological incapacity, meaning to say that the petitioner or the plaintiff was not able to prove that the respondent was incapable of performing his marital or her marital obligation, or yung mga judicial antecedents, or ibig sabihin nun is that the reasons for that person to suffer the psychological incapacity was not proven. Kasi that's what the Supreme Court is looking for always in cases like this.
But normally, kasi when it comes to appeal, di ba, karamihan na nakikita ko, yung mga asawa na pinadeclare na psychologically incapacitated, they don't care. Okay, annulled na, right? Okay na, hindi na sila nag-appeal. So my question to you is this naman. Based on what you've experienced, mas marami bang appealed cases because the solgen filed the appeal or the respondent filed it?
Well, it is. I think it's both ways, no. Solgen appeals the cases that were declared null and void, and there are some also litigious cases, meaning to say from the very start it was opposed by the other party, so they go up all the way to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
So we cannot really tell. But in most cases where the court declares, and Supreme Court or the OSG does not actually appeal all of them. Only very few.
Depende kung saan team ka napunta. At sinong lawyer humarok? Sinong solicitor may hawak ng kaso mo? Now, the other thing, so yun na nga, di ba? Nagpa-annul ka na, dineclare na annul, ganyan. So what next? Ano yung effect? Nabanggit mo yung sa annulment kanina. Ano naman ang effect nung declaration of nullity sa pamilya?
Okay. Well, also the legitimacy will not be affected. They will still remain to be legitimate, the children. But still, there will also be liquidation of the properties and forfeiture of the share of the guilty spouse, no, in favor of the common children, or if the parties could agree to a settlement of their properties, then that will be honored by the court, no. And but that liquidation and settlement of the properties, if they have, will come after the marriage has been declared null and void, and it has already attained finality.
But how long after?
Well, the required period that once the parties receive it, they have a period of 15 days to either file a motion for reconsideration or appeal, as well as the OSG. So once the court verifies that nobody or the respondent, neither the OSG files an MR or a motion or an appeal, then it can issue the certificate of finality. So that's where the petition formality ends already, but not yet the liquidation and settlement of the properties.
Okay. So, halimbawa, the final na, no? From the time na naging final na yung declaration of nullity, is there a time limit as to when you can continue yung pagdating naman sa liquidation of assets, yung mga yung property naman na i-deal with? Is there like a timeline na kailangan within this certain time ayusin na yon?
Wala naman. Wala
naman. Okay. Pagdating sa custody, do they also deal with custody?
Yes, actually, in the decision, it should already included, no? Even prior, nagkakaroon na yon ng mga rulings on custody, and in the final decision, it should be included.
So ako lang, I find yung mga iba na sinasabi nila na lumalaban yung mga respondent, sometimes kasi you want to have them declared psychological incapacitated. Siyempre, they don't want that, especially for people who have may pangalan, may reputation in society and whatever. So, ang payo ko sa inyo, eto payong kaibigan lang, hindi to payong lawyer. Hindi to legal advice, again. Payong kaibigan lang. Have yourself declared psychological incapacitated. Look into yourself, baka naman ikaw ang psychological incapacitated, di ba? Pwede kasi yon. I have seen and I've dealt with etong declaration of nullity, ginawa niya, pinadeclare niya asawa niya, siya rin. Di walang lusot, di ba? Isa sa amin, may ganun, kaya hindi magkasundo. Na-declare sila pareho, o di ba, bonus? But at least kung hindi siya ma-declare at hindi nag-cooperate yung asawa mo at, nahirapan ka maghanap ng kasi hindi ba, sometimes, I don't know if they'll see it, but sometimes, parang yung testimony although sinabi na ng Supreme Court na okay lang, pero di ba parang ang hirap kung ang testimony mo is sinasabi mo na psychological incapacitated yung asawa mo, parang napaka-self-serving kasi gusto mo nga pa-declare siya, di ba? So para talagang waging-wagi ka, ikaw na mismo magpa-declare, kumuha ka ng psychiatrist mo, magpa-interview ka because sometimes maybe you are. You're just thinking you're blaming your husband, your spouse, ikaw pa lang may problema, di ba? So kung talagang gusto niyo ma-annul ma-declare na null yung marriage niyo, then wag na ma-pride. Magpa-subject na rin sarili mo sa psychiatrist because you never know, right? Maybe ikaw rin, hindi naman ganun. But you're not able to perform the duties of a spouse, di ba? You don't know. It doesn't mean that you're crazy because sometimes yung iba kasi, they don't know. They think, pag sinabing psychological incapacitated, you're crazy. You're not. You're just being a woman. No, I'm just kidding. You're just, hindi pareho yon, okay? O kaya, lalaki naman. Just because psychological incapacity, hindi ibig sabihin, may sira ang utak mo, siguro babaero ka lang talaga. Alam mo yon, so sometimes, it doesn't mean na porque psychological incapacitated ka it doesn't mean you're crazy, okay? That's totally different. Doon yung pa-fall dun sa annulment, dun sa of unsound mind. So, iba yun, Kasi yung iba, iniisip nila, I don't want to be declared that. Ano ko, praning? No, it doesn't mean that, right? So, yun lang, payong kaibigan lang, hindi payong abogado yun. Payong kaibigan, para wala silang lusot, mag-subject ka na rin sa magpa-examine ka na sa psychiatrist mo. So you never know. Maybe you are the one who's psychologically capacitated. Anyway. So, oh my God, alam mo, ang dami natin na pag-usapan about annulment pa lang. And we're already running out of time. And it's, ang dami mo na-enlighten mo ang mga audience namin for sure. Because ang dami talaga nagtatanong na from Canada about having their marriage annulled in the Philippines. Right? And sometimes, sabi ko nga, ito, mawawalan ako ng kliyente nito. But I told them, kung hindi ka pa, clearly, nagpapa-annul ka kasi Filipino citizen ka pa rin. Right? So, ang payo ko sa kanila, if you want it to be faster, wait until you're a Canadian citizen, then file for divorce, then have that divorce recognized in the Philippines, mas mabilis. Because ang divorce sa Canada, 1 year ka separated, pwede ng ground yon for divorce. So, as long as you're separated from bed, kahit you're in the same house, if you're separated from bed, di na kayo nagsasama, di na talaga kayo, hindi nyo na pine-perform yung obligations nyo as husband and wife for 1 year, that's already a ground for divorce, and you can file that in court. So, after 1 year, file ka, tas on consent, 3 months, makukuha mo na yung ano mo, divorce. And then, have it recognized in the Philippines. Right? Ginagawa na ng Philippines yun, di ba? Recognition of foreign divorce. Again, if you want to do that, you email Atty. Rodriquez at maria@merlaw.ca. Okay? So yun ang payo ko sa inyo. Bilang kaibigan. Bilang kaibigan talaga. So anyway, ang dami-dami pa namin gustong pag-usapan ni Winston, but we're running out of time. So we're hoping that we can get Attorney Hines again for eto just so you know. We were supposed to be talking about more on recognition of foreign divorce, support, which really surprised me when Attorney Hines mentioned to me that he deals with support. Because when I left the Philippines, it's unheard of. Parang, pag naghiwalay ang mag-asawa noon, bahala ka sa buhay mo. Diba? Parang, kaya nagulat ako na, wow, may support na ngayon. Diba? So now, again, for the Filipinos in the Philippines, hindi man natin mapag-usapan to ngayon, meron na, pwede na kayo mag-file ng support pag iniwan kayo ng asawa ninyo for your children and for yourself, diba? Pati sa asawa, pwedeng support, not lang children. Okay, yes. So tandaan nyo yun. And if nasa Philippines kayo, call Attorney Hines. Mamaya bibigyan natin yung information nila so you can go to their law firm. And we were supposed to talk about some civil cases that Attorney Hines have encountered. Malay nyo, nag-false yung mga problema nyo doon. Marinig nyo sana, but we're running out of time. And also, Attorney Hines deals with criminal cases. Quickly lang sa criminal cases, usually, ano yung mga nare-represent mga na kliyente?
Well, all kinds of criminal cases, those that are non-bailable, like murder, rape. Also, most of the time for the accused. But there are some, we act as private prosecutors. We assist the fiscals or the prosecutors.
Well, that would be interesting sana, no? Kaso nga, we're running out of time, sayang. Kasi I'm a criminal lawyer in Canada, and funny thing is, I didn't like criminal law in law school. I never imagined myself becoming a criminal lawyer, much less a federal prosecutor dealing with drug charges, diba? Parang, I never thought na mangyayari yun. But it's very interesting. I love criminal law because there's drama in it. Alam mo yun, mas intense. Anyway. And I was gonna ask you quickly, do you do pro bono cases for criminal cases or for any other case?
Yeah, we do. Especially right now that I'm the president of Integrated Bar of the Philippines, Zambales chapter, and our chapter has a legal aid program. So we do accept pro bono cases.
Nice. But kailangan taga-Zambales sila?
So no, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Okay. So, ayan, nadinig nyo, ano bang ibig sabihin ng pro bono? Libre. So, kita nyo naman magaling pa yung lawyer na makukuha nyo, tas libre pa. Naku, baka biglang may magtawagan sa'yo. Anyway, pero syempre, ina-assess nyo naman before you, di ba?
Yes.
Yung, ano usually ang mga pro bono cases na tinatanggap mo? And ano yung reason bakit ito yung mga napipili yung cases to
Well,
represent?
number one is that they are really indigents. No?
Mhm.
And number two is they are really wanting of
Justice.
parang they cry for justice, no?
Mhm.
And they don't have proper representation in court.
Mhm.
Just for example, right now I have a neighbor in our village who was accused of rape and sexual assault, but he does not have the capacity to hire a private lawyer. So I volunteer my services pro bono.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice of you. And ang dami ko pang tanong sa'yo, but we're running out of time. Ano ba yan? Okay, alam mo, isi-save ko yan for another time. So for now, we would like to say thank you, Attorney Hines, for gracing my show. I learned a lot. My audience learned a lot from you. And maybe this is the time for you to promote your office. Sabihin mo yung saan kayo kukontakin, your email address, maybe your phone number. And para yung mga audience natin sa Philippines dyan, if you want to avail of their services, then you can call them.
Okay, maraming salamat po. And again, I'm Attorney Winston M. Hines. We are based in Makati. Our law office is Keal, Hines, Beltran, and U Law Offices. You can contact me through my cell phone number 0917-593-4436 or through my email wmhines@yahoo.com.
Yun. That's good to know. Tapos, ako naman, dali. May babatiin ka ba?
Wala naman.
Wala ka babatiin.
Yes.
Okay. Ako meron. Lagi ako may binabate. Meron kasi akong, before anything else, hinahanap ko kasi yung meron akong gustong i-promote, but mamaya na hindi ko mahanap. So, kasi itong iPhone, hindi ko naintindihan. Mas Android kasi ako. Okay. So, for my greetings, again, congratulations to my daughter who just graduated from McGill University with a degree of Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy and Linguistics. Who would have known? Ako, ang undergrad ko, Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy. Siya dinagdagan ng linguistics sa mas mahirap. So, anak, congratulations. I'm so proud of you. She was supposed to be a lawyer. She was supposed to take up law kasi she's very intelligent. And she's not like me. She's very studious. She's very bookish. Ano mag-aral talaga. But nowadays, the children, lalo dito sa, I guess, sa North America, ang priority nila is fast money. So gusto niya so ngayon, real estate agent siya. But I'm still hoping na maybe one day mag-law siya. Anyway. And of course, congratulations to FINRO. That's the Filipinos in Niagara Region, Ontario, for successfully getting the Filipinos together in Niagara. Again, congratulations. And for the Filipinos in Niagara region, sumali kayo. Meron silang wala pang volleyball, pero magkakaroon. May basketball sila. Meron silang sports. Yun yung wala sa Niagara na hinahanap ko noon. Meron na sila ngayon. So, kontakin nyo lang ang FINRO Filipinos in Niagara Region, Ontario. They have a Facebook. Hanapin nyo na lang. And of course, I would like to promote the Hitmakers, Nonoy Zuniga, my friend, and my other friend, Marco Ciso, and syempre mga kasama niya si Haji Alejandro. Sino pa isa? Ray Valera ba yun? So, Hitmakers, yun yung hinahanap kong ano dito eh. If you want to watch it, eto, nahanap ko siya. So, it's called Four Kings and a Queen. The Hitmakers with special guests, Pops Fernandez and Jason Baltazar. This is on June 26th. That's my daughter's birthday. Anak, happy birthday in advance. Sunday, 8 p.m. at Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, California, the Saban Theater, 8440 Hills. So if you want to get tickets, contact my friend. Her name's Paulette Gamboa. 562-881-9651. Again, it's 562-881-9651. Panoorin nyo, maganda yung show na yan. Of course, nandiyan si Nonay at si Marco. And of course, hello to my BFFs, Marika Kodroglu, Milet, Joy, and thank you for an amazing time. We went to Santorini, Athens, and Prague. I had such a good time. Thank you so much. And yung extravaganza in Niagara Falls, Don't forget to attend that. That's July 30, 2022. It's Filipino extravaganza, yung Filipino culture, i-display dyan, yung Filipino food. So, umattend kayo. And congratulations. Ako, non-political. Ikaw ba, meron kang kinilingan nung eleksyon?
Meron, yes.
Meron. Hindi ko natatanungin, baka ayaw mo sabihin eh. So, ako, wala. Wala talaga ako. And I've been open to that. Sa akin, wala kasi akong kilala. Hindi ko alam yung background nila talaga. So, but, meron na tayong bagong president. So, I'd like to congratulate our newly elected president, Bongbong Marcos, and Vice President Sara Duterte Carpio. I did not support them, nor did I not, hindi ako nag-support kahit kanino. Ngayon, yung mga kaibigan ko na pink, kahit ako naka-pink ngayon, yung mga andami kong friends na pink, eto lang sa akin, nanalo na. Okay? Declared na sila na talaga. Why we should just support them because it's for the country. Okay? Wala na kayong magagawa. Ito ng presidente natin, ito ng vice president natin, the best we can do for our country is to support them. And let's just pray to God that they do their best. Kung ano man yung tingin nyung gagawin nilang masama, huwag niyong isipin because you are manifesting. Naniniwala ako doon. Kung ano yung iniisip nyo, mangyayari. So kung iniisip nyo na gagawin nilang masama, huwag nyo na pong isipin, please lang. Ang isipin nyo, nakaupo na sila ngayon, they will do their best for the country and for you. Okay? So huwag mag-manifest ha. Basahin nyo yung The Secret nang maintindihan nyo ibig kong sabihin. Because totoo yan. Even I believe that alam ko na pag may makakahanap ako ng parking, kahit anong hirap maghanap ng parking, alam ko may parking ako and it happens. So, the more you think of something, the more it will happen. So, please don't think that the president and the vice president, whoever is elected, will do something bad for the country. Kasi, kayo na, you will attract that. Okay? So, don't. Isipin na lang natin, they'll do good, they'll do their best, and aangat nila yung Philippines, and let's pray for them. Okay? So, wala nang pink, blue, yellow, red, black, wala na. Lahat dyan, white. Ganun eh. And congratulations to my uncle, Nick Enciso, who is now a congressman. May uncle na akong congressman. Hello. And of course, hi to LV Damiano, ang loyalista ni Marcos na inaaway ako, hindi naman ako lumalaban. And of course, hi to my friends, Calixta Oliva, Tita Weng, Don Oliva, and Lady, pagaling ka. And happy birthday, last na to, promise. Bibilisan ko, happy birthday to Storm, a member of my family. Siya ang cat ng anak ko. And of course, my brother, Reynan De Luna, my classmate from Renzo Santiago, my classmate from Star Magic, Rich Carpizo, Melissa Arcaya, Noreen Lani, Jen Gutierrez, Don Jackson, Paul Young, Alan Cunanan from Bassard, Gina Ferrer, my kababata, Gary Tomas, Tita Jessie Santos, happy birthday, and of course, my daughter Aliana, whose birthday is June 26, and my son Jed, whose birthday is July 1st. Anyway, so yun lang. So I am so sorry, Von Canton. Eto, I went over again. I know, pagagalitan mo na ako. But what can I do? Ang ganda ng topic namin. So let's just hope that we can bring Attorney Hines back to our show para ituloy niya yung mga hindi namin na-discuss. We will find time. I hope he finds time for us. But anyway, again, thank you so much, Winston, for agreeing to be a guest in my show. Kahit alam kong super busy ka. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I do hope that the people will call you, and magaling na lawyer to, kaya ako sa inyo, tawagan nyo na. Tapos
My pleasure, Tiny. And I'm honored to be in your program. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And don't go yet, ha? Kasi meron pa tayong gagawin after this. So, again, to the audience out there, thank you so much for watching. And again, to the Philippines, Happy Independence Day. And sana panoorin niyo po yung susunod na episode natin. Again, dito sa Konting Kaalaman, Malaking Katulungan. Again, ako po si Atty. Maria Eleanor Rodriquez, ang inyong kaibigan, your source of information and legal counsel who has the Filipino community's best interest at heart dito sa programang Konting Kaalaman, Malaking Katulungan. Till next episode.
Canada treats you to a whole new fiesta for 2022. This time, the party is extra special because we're celebrating Filipino heritage in 5 different cities: Vaughan, Toronto, Hamilton, Niagara, Montreal. This year, the festivities is tremendously huge. That showcases family-friendly Filipino festival. Don't miss the happiest cultural celebration in the world.